Hi, if you came across this video, you saw the title below. You're looking into Lilith first house, or a transiting is happening in your first house with Lilith. And yeah, I'm here to help out or depict in your mind what it looks like to have Lilith in your chart, either natally or transitionally. So if you don't know who Lilith is, or if you want to know a really quick, concise way of Lilith, is she is the first original wife of Adam, and long story short, they were both dominant. She just didn't want to be submissive, and he didn't like that. He wanted her submissive. So, and she's a part of him, but I guess he didn't realize that they both had that, I guess, the autonomy, the wanting to be authority, autonomy, all that stuff. And she was casted out for that, and he grew out Eve out of his rib, and she was submissive, and they were a better match in his eyes. And Lilith was mad and angry and felt suppressed and etc. So that is the energy of Lilith. Lilith is more profound and deeper than that, especially depending on where in your house it tells you. But for now, we're talking about the first house. I'll start with the natal part. So if you have this in your natal chart, first house, this is like Marlyn Monroe vibes. I'm getting immediately that you may have had people just so triggered, just you being alive, you physically being there in front of their eyes. It could be that the other person might be intimidated or just really triggered by something that they may feel like they're not able to do or be or look like, or etc. Lilith in the first house is suppression with oneself as well. So you might feel shame about who you are, or you might feel rebellious in the sense that you don't want to conform and be you don't want to look a certain way just because you are a certain way. And this can apply to so many people. I even imagine people in the LGBT community where, especially in a generation back then in the millennial time, I know that was a really big deal where they couldn't really cross-dress, or transgender, or even having your own sexuality was a thing that was a really big problem. But since the first house is more about your body, it would be more about what you identify with your body, with who you are, what you want to do, your relationship with yourself. I would say the sexuality will be more in the 5th house or 8th house. It could also be the first house. It's just the relationship you have with yourself. But I'll give you a scenario, and maybe you might relate if you happen to have this. So imagine, the women example is really, really easy to draw out. So basically, imagine you go in a new job, and the women in there are probably, they don't care how they dress. They just kind of like just go to work, no makeup or whatever, or with makeup. But they probably, they're going about their lives like nothing. But you come in and you're, I'm sorry to break it to ya, but you might be sexually attractive and seductive, whether that is through your eyes, your body, your mannerism, or something about you is just energetically very sexually attractive. And I say sexually attractive because Lilith does give that energy, especially in the first house. Marlyn Monroe, she had a major shift when she tapped into her Lilith energy, and a lot of people bashed on her until she I guess actually passed away. And she does have Jupiter in the 12th house, so that explains she got her fame and recognition after. But she definitely was shamed upon, and she did a lot of roles that were they were so juicy and so real. She was very, I love her so much. She was very, not just like about autonomy, but rather kind of confronting the other party's shadow. And usually Lilith Lilith in whatever house that you have, they want to suppress you for a reason. It's because you're triggering something, a shadow aspect of themselves, or they just don't want to hear something. But I saw, and it's really famous, a part of a movie, or I'm not sure where it came from, but I saw it on YouTube, where she was starring as someone who was, I guess, gonna get married with someone who was wealthy, and the father of that wealthy man was like, you only want to get married with him because of his money. And she's like, no, I actually don't. I don't want his money, I want your money. Like, she was very honest. And then he was like, how dare you? But then she was like, well, the man always chooses a very beautiful woman based on his preference. And while a woman can't choose security, and wouldn't it be easier if you were married with someone who you were attractive? It's not the most important thing, but it would help a lot. And she pointed out things that were so spot on true. And it's funny because a lot of people are very like, oh, that gold digger, she's going out with that guy for that. In reality, they're both exchanging some form of, whether it's shadow or not, the person, the sugar daddy, the sugar mama who's looking for someone who's attractive, is getting that benefit from them. They want to have that beauty around them, and they're exchanging money with that. So Lilith energy definitely confronts that. It's not all about that. That was just an example of what I saw, the energy of Lilith with Marlyn Monroe, of her playing a role like that. And I really liked it. I was like, oh, tell them. But yeah, you're definitely going to trigger the same sex or the opposite sex, or both, which is really hard. It's very, very hard. So for example, there could be people that can't control themselves around you because they're just attracted to you, and then they blame you for it, when in reality they don't have self-control. So they want to suppress you, make you feel minimized. Another thing that can happen is jealousy. So this can apply to both men or female. You could look younger or more attractive, or just kind of exude more of an authentic, you're so rooted in yourself that it really throws people off, and they want to bring you down for that. They don't like that. As soon as I see Lilith in the first house, I feel like people are jealous. People are jealous of you, or not jealous, only just triggered. Something about you just triggers the living crap out of them. You are in the untamed. You're the closest to your root chakra, your natural untamed wolf in you. There's like this animal part of you that your instinct is so heightened when it's in the first house. Now let's say it's in transit time. So I like to see the natal as the whole theme of your life, a big theme of your life. But when it's transiting, it's kind of like a chapter. What happens in the transit time is that you will experience this with anywhere you go. And I say anywhere as in your job, your home, someone's going to be triggered about how you look, how you are, who you identify. They will not like anything of it, and they will throw comments at you during this chapter, during this time, and you will feel like you need to minimize or suppress yourself. You're definitely going to want to be more independent. You're probably going to experience something where you're just like, I need to do what I need to do based on my instincts. Like I can't really fully explain it. It's kind of like a wolf. A wolf can sense things. They're very instinctual animals, and you can't tame them 24 hours. Like they have to do what they have to do. So I'm trying to think what else I can say for Lilith in the first house. I'm telling you, just you existing, especially physically in this world, I'm just getting a lot of jealousy, a lot of trigger, but also you can also shame yourself. You might have a shame within yourself that you may feel like my boobs are too big and I'm like a really petite, or my body looks too sexualized, or you know, it's very strange because sometimes we tend to suppress ourselves from a lot of things. It could also be that you want to be accepted, but you know you have this inner darkness in you, and it's like really hard for you to maybe even let that darkness out because you're trying to be appropriate for the environment of work and everything. There might be a part of you that likes to dance in front of public, or likes to express yourself in some way through your body, your fashion, your sense of self, of who you are, your identity with yourself. So, and you might be like, you might second guess yourself extra because you don't see everyone like that. So just imagine everyone wearing like flower dresses, and then you're like, I'm into the dark energy, like I like gothic stuff. And let's say it's a time where that's not a cool thing, because now you can wear anything, you can do anything, it's modern time. But let's say it's back then and you're just different, you know, there's something about you that's just like, especially with your physical self, you just want to express yourself. Think of like what Wednesday Adam, like that's just like kind of you, that's your energy, that's your vibe. And it's not about looking gothic or punk or anything like that. It's not about that. It's the dark suppressed part of yourself that you get shamed upon, or you trigger others. But yeah, that's a little bit of the Lilith first house energy. So I guess what you can look in the first house, look at who your enemies are in the 12th house, and then also look at, let's say you have Lilith in Gemini, the first house, look at the Mercury. Where's your Mercury position? And that, I feel like that's going to correlate with a lot of things. Or let's say you have Taurus, Lilith, first house. It can manifest in so many different ways. You want to get the energy, you want to connect the dots with the planets, the planet ruler, and you also want to imagine the idea and the concept of that sign. So another example would be, let's say it's Leo. People might not like you shining bright, and you know, Leos are meant to shine bright. They're all meant to shine bright, but there's something about you that people are like, oh, like annoyed, because they're like, why do they have that magnetism energy? Like, screw them, let's dampen that sun. Like, it's like that. So yeah, I hope this helped anyone, and take care. Bye.